Hey there, welcome back. Today we're diving into Chapter 16 titled Gloriana, the Windsor's Winning Streak. This is the Queen's Flex era, a decade where everything seemed to click. Kate married in a real-life fairy tale, Harry was still the nation's rogue prince with a heart, and the Queen? She straight up jumped out of a helicopter with James Bond. Okay, not really, but also, yes, really. But don't be fooled by the bunting and pageantry. This chapter isn't just a royal glow-up. It's about calculated moves, flawless PR, and one of the most masterful image control streaks the monarchy has ever pulled off. From Ireland to the Olympics, the crown was slaying. Let's get into it. If there was a golden era of the 21st century monarchy, it was the 8-year stretch after the wedding of William and Kate in 2011 until 2019. The firm was basking in a bubble bath of national goodwill. The Duchess of Cambridge ensured the succession by producing two irresistibly photogenic children in Prince George and Princess Charlotte. Harry became the nation's hero as an Apache helicopter pilot in his second deployment in Afghanistan. Charles was a cheery new man since his marriage to Camilla. He looks gleeful as he goes up the stairs to his own quarters at Clarence House, where Camilla is going to give him a warm welcome, as one of his friends noted to me. And the Queen was enjoying her own serene heyday by keeping calm and carrying on. I think this is the closest the Windsors have come to a rebrand worthy of Apple. The Queen kept calm. Will and Kate were giving Disney royal realness. And Harry? A brooding Apache pilot with global crush appeal. For once, the firm actually felt likable. It's hard to overstate the historical and diplomatic importance of a state visit to a place where rancor toward the crown had been so deeply felt for so long. The Queen was both anxious and excited about the prospect, and more than aware of all the political groundwork that preceded the potent symbolism of her presence on Irish soil. The last time a British monarch, George V, visited Ireland in 1911, he still ruled over it, and neither Elizabeth II nor her father, George VI, had ever set foot in the breakaway republic. The troubles were personally harrowing for the Queen. In August 1979, the IRA murdered the man they considered one of the ultimate representations of the British establishment. Lord Mountbatten, the Queen's second cousin and a former chief of the defense staff. Even after the 1998 Good Friday Agreement, crafted with the combined diplomatic muscle of Tony Blair and Bill Clinton, feelings were still too raw for the Queen to travel to Ireland. On the windy spring morning of May 17, 2011, the royal plane touched down at Casement Aerodrome outside Dublin. Her Majesty stepped out, resplendently local in an emerald coat and hat that paid homage to the cherished hue of the host country. The Queen saved her most stirring gesture of statecraft for the state dinner at Dublin Castle, where, wearing a dress adorned with 2,000 hand-sewn shamrocks and a heart brooch, she opened her speech in Gaelic to heartfelt applause and a mouthed wow from President McAleese. Emotion was high as the 172 dignitaries, politicians, and cultural icons rose for the toast. British Prime Minister David Cameron was at the Queen's table. It was incredibly moving to witness our monarch speak of forgiveness, he writes in his memoir. It was the biggest political success of her reign, Andrew Marr observed of a monarch who is steadfastly apolitical. This wasn't just a royal tour, it was emotional statecraft. The bow at the Garden of Remembrance, the whispered I know at Croke Park, and that Gaelic opener at Dublin Castle. I think this was the Queen's quiet masterpiece. No crown, all gravitas. The only directive the Queen gave to the palace team about her Diamond Jubilee was that it should not cost much. With the Tories' unpopular austerity budget in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis and the countervailing grumblings about billions being thrown at the 2012 London Olympics, the Queen didn't want any populist sniping about Jubilee extravagance. The palace team was instructed to do the whole celebration on a budget of £1 million, tops. Even on the cheap, the Queen managed to rack up 83 public Jubilee appearances across the United Kingdom. The rest of the family were dispatched on a Commonwealth charm offensive. Charles and Camilla hauled ass to Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea. William and Kate, fending off pregnancy questions, were dispatched to Singapore, Malaysia, Tuvalu, and the Solomon Islands. Prince Andrew, with his usual perfect pitch, took a private jet to visit a Mumbai slum. Prince Harry, acing his first solo tour representing Grandma, charmed his way through Jamaica, the Bahamas, and Belize, and provided gold-plated photos racing playfully against Usain Bolt, the fastest runner in the world. The climax of the Diamond Jubilee was a water pageant on the Thames, in which 1,000 boats of every size and description, like the little rescue ships of Dunkirk, took to the river in a merry armada. The appallingly unseasonable weather subjected the Queen and Prince Philip, at the ages of 86 and 90, respectively, to the ordeal of standing on deck for 4 hours without a bathroom break on one of the coldest and wettest days of the year. Only the Windsors could make monsoon pageantry feel quintessentially British. They stood on deck for 4 hours with no toilet breaks. Camilla nearly passed out, Philip got a bladder infection, and the Queen grinned through the downpour like a national talisman. The London Olympics in July 2012 provided the capstone of the royal winning streak. The soft power of the crown was once again in full evidence during the aggressive romancing of the International Olympic Committee by the London Organizing Committee, chaired by four-time Olympic medalist Sebastian Coe, the former superstar middle-distance runner. The 13-strong IOC team was invited to a reception at Buckingham Palace, at which the Queen made sure that the welcome dinner was a wow. Her Majesty visited the site of the stadium as early as 2009, and Coe writes in his memoir of how he walked the Queen down what would eventually be the finishing straight of the running track. For the first time since the height of empire, Britain's capital felt truly global, the culturally effervescent magnet of Europe with the financial buzz of New York City. The King's Speech, the film starring Colin Firth that humanized the royal family with its moving depiction of George VI's personal struggles with his stammer, won the 2011 Oscar for Best Picture. Whether real or a body double, Boyle knew that the opening act of the Olympics demanded the iconic presence of the reigning monarch, seen as never before. One of his team suggested filming Her Maj in the flesh at the palace, and then having her drop into the stadium played by a body double. Boyle being Boyle, he upped the ante by adding to his wish list that the Queen be joined by another Britain-defining cultural icon, James Bond. As Bond, Daniel Craig's role would be to show up at the palace in a helicopter to rescue the Queen from a security threat that jeopardized her safe arrival at an undisclosed event. Her Majesty, aka stuntman Gary Connery, would leap from the aircraft dressed in the same peach, crystal, and lace cocktail dress the Queen was planning to wear, and land 800 feet below, just outside the Olympic Stadium. Stephen Daldry, artistic director of the Olympics, told me the main reason the Queen agreed is that she thought it would be a great joke to amuse her grandchildren. I think the monarchy's cool factor peaked the moment the Queen said, "Good evening, Mr. Bond." That Olympic stunt wasn't just brilliant, it flipped the script. For decades, the royals were symbols of duty, not delight. But suddenly, Her Maj had timing, humor, range. And around the same time, the King's Speech was in theaters, turning George VI's stammer into Oscar gold. It painted the monarchy as vulnerable, human, even heroic. Between a speech therapist and a helicopter jump, the Windsors weren't just dignified anymore, they were relatable. That's a cultural rebrand money can't buy. So I feel like this chapter was the rare moment where the monarchy wasn't defending itself. It was celebrating itself. No scandals, no drama, just a family stepping into the spotlight with confidence, grace, and even a bit of cheeky flair. Whether it was the Queen charming Ireland in Gaelic, Kate turning every handshake into a headline, or that unforgettable Olympic entrance, the crown felt in step with the times. And maybe that's why this stretch hits so different. For once, the firm looked not just polished, but truly loved.